This is Jerry. He's been wandering through the forest and he finds himself lost. With no food in his backpack, he has no choice but to eat what he finds around him in the woods. All he sees are different types of mushrooms, but he knows some can be poisonous. If only there was a way for him to figure out which were edible and which ones were poisonous. Jerry desperately searches his backpack for anything that might be useful for his survival. Luckily, Jerry happens to have brought his computer with him. On that computer is a dataset of over 8,000 mushrooms with 22 features describing them, including a class attribute that classifies them as poisonous or edible. Jerry remembers the data analysis course he once took and creates a logistic regression model that takes features in and outputs the predicted class. In this case, it takes the mushroom features and outputs edible or poisonous. He looks at the confusion matrix for his training and testing set and notices that all of the mushrooms were correctly classified. Great! However, Jerry is starving and doesn't have time to inspect all 22 features of each mushroom he eats, so he decides to run a decision tree model on all random subsets of his data, also known as random forest classification. With this model, he can inspect which attributes are the most impactful on prediction and only evaluate those to make his prediction. According to the feature importances of the random forest model, these are the most valuable features to classify the mushrooms. Jerry then runs a new logistic regression with only the most essential features. Looking at the confusion matrices, his model still classifies most mushrooms correctly, and more importantly, he only needs to evaluate a few attributes of each mushroom. As Jerry takes a bite out of a particularly delicious mushroom, he thinks to himself, "Who would have thought my data analysis would come in handy?" Of course, he can never be 100% sure of his classification, but thanks to his classification models, he can hopefully satiate his hunger long enough to find his way out of the woods.